When do you get a heads up that Luka is getting traded to the Los Angeles Lakers and AD is getting traded to Dallas? And what were your thoughts on it as a whole, Commish?
Just to clarify, I don't, or the commissioner doesn't have the right to block a trade other than a trade not conforming to our rules. So,
okay.
and you alluded to David Stern once blocked a trade, but I get how confusing it was to fans, but he was both the commissioner and the acting owner of the New Orleans franchise at the time.
Got it.
And so a trade was recommended to him by the general manager, and he turned down that trade based on what he thought was in the best interest of that franchise.
As an owner, not as the commissioner. He turned down the trade as the owner, not as the commissioner.
Exactly. And by the way, I learned my lesson because in that interim period, when we were running the Los Angeles Clippers, a guy named Dick Parsons came in, and he was the interim governor. And I, of course, had been here when David turned down that trade. And I said, Dick, you're the owner of that team. You will decide what trades to make or not make, not me. So there's absolutely no confusion. But in this situation, with Luka, I learned, the league office learns a little bit ahead of the public, because to the point of leagues approving trades, it's kind of like a closing at a house. Both teams have to be on the phone. The lawyers and the basketball folks at the league office have to make sure that the contracts match, that the team indeed does have the cap room to make the trade, that it complies with our rules. So I learned when they called the trade into the league office. And again, so I don't really have a role in that process other than if there's somehow a dispute as to the mechanism of the trade. You know, in terms of the trade itself, look, it's obvious time will tell. The only place where I feel defensive on behalf of the Dallas Mavericks and new ownership there is there were some suggestions early on that the trade wasn't done for basketball reasons, that somehow new owner didn't want to pay a maximum salary or was focused on building a real estate development or something else. The only thing I can say, and I feel very confident in this, knowing Patrick Dumont, who's the governor of the team, and the people involved, they believed that they were making the best trade on behalf of the Dallas Mavericks. Whether that turns out to be true, again, only time will tell.